Arunachala beckons all, then is Hartel. Ocean of nectar, full of grace, engulfing the universe in thy splendor. O Arunachala, the supreme itself, be thou the sun and open the lotus of my heart in bliss. 5 stanzas to Sri Arunachala. 100 years ago, on September 1st, 1896, a 16-year-old Brahmin boy quietly walked straight into the inner sanctum of the great Arunachala temple in Tiruvannamalai, South India. "Father, at thy call I have come," was his unspoken, heartfelt utterance. Since that day, when Sri Ramana Maharshi made his appearance at the holy Arunachala mountain, numerous seekers the world over have turned their gaze towards that ancient, holy hill of light. Now, 46 years after the Maharshi cast off his mortal frame, it appears that even greater numbers of seekers from the West are being irresistibly attracted by him. His teachings are studied, disseminated, and practiced by citizens of all countries from all walks of life. In my 25 years of living and working in an ashram dedicated to the sage of Arunachala, I have observed this increase firsthand. It cannot be attributed to the efforts of any individual or groups propagating the Maharshi's teachings. Sri Ramana Maharshi is a unique powerhouse of peace. His powerful presence is his most striking feature, which even today draws us to him. During his lifetime, he did not display occult powers, nor did he raise funds for any cause, lecture on Vedanta, or go about making disciples. Rather, it was his utter simplicity, transparent love, and illumination that pierced even the most crusted hearts of unyielding skeptics. Here is a genuine, towering spiritual personality. As this decade draws to an end and the panorama of spiritual teachers and teachings of the past century narrows, we find that the sage of Arunachala is emerging as a dominant force. The spiritual power that he embodied during his lifetime is slowly being realized after his death, and in the next century it will gain momentum, influencing the lives of countless seekers of truth, and Arunachala will be the center from where this current of spirituality will flow. Throughout history, there have always been a few rare souls whose destiny required them to act as ships ferrying myriad pilgrims to the other shore. Their influence does not abate with physical death. Their teachings are not buried in their tombs. The Maharshi still floats high on the water of our consciousness, and his power lies not so much in his spoken word recorded in books, but in his grace conferred to sincere seekers. It is a grace that opens the heart and pulls us into it. The wisdom gained by such grace is not knowledge born of thought, but rather wisdom born of intuition when thought ceases and the self alone remains. Arunachala is the visible form of the self and also represents the path to the self as taught and lived by Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi. The glory of Arunachala Hill has been sung in scriptures passed down to us from antiquity. The Maharshi gave this meaning of Arunachala. Aruna meaning red, bright like fire. The fire is not ordinary fire, which is only hot. This is Jnanagni, fire of wisdom, which is neither hot nor cool. Achala means a hill, so it means hill of wisdom. Arunachala is already one of the oldest and most sacred of all holy places. The Maharshi called it the heart of the earth, the spiritual center of the world. Sri Shankara declared it to be Mount Meru. In the Skanda Purana, we read, "Of all, Arunachala is the most sacred. It is the heart of the world. Know it to be the secret and sacred heart center of Shiva." Down through the ages, saints and sages have adorned its caves, and it has been said that even now, invisible siddhas, sages with supernatural powers, dwell in these caves. The Maharshi has confirmed their existence, and some have seen them moving as lights upon the hill at night. This hill is considered to be the original Shivalingam, and the story of its origin is found in the Arunachala Mahatmyam. Devotees of the Maharshi sometimes wondered why he would often refer to Arunachala mountain as God. Was he not an Advaitin, a non-dualist? This question was put to the sage by a learned professor, Dr. Syed, and recorded in talks with Sri Ramana Maharshi. Dr. Syed asked, "I have been reading the 5 hymns. I find that the hymns are addressed to Arunachala by you. You are an Advaitin. How do you then address God as a separate being?" Maharshi: "The devotee, God, and the hymns are all the self." Dr. Syed: "But you are addressing God. You are specifying this Arunachala hill as God." Maharshi: "You can identify the self with the body. Should not the devotee identify the self with Arunachala?" Dr. Syed: "If Arunachala be the self, why should it be specially picked out among so many other hills? God is everywhere. Why do you specify him as Arunachala?" Maharshi: "What has attracted you from Allahabad to this place? What has attracted all these people around?" Dr. Syed: "Sri Bhagavan." Maharshi: "How was I attracted here? By Arunachala? The power cannot be denied. Again, Arunachala is within and not without. The self is Arunachala." To further convey the true significance of Arunachala, nothing is more revealing than these hymns Sri Ramana wrote praising the holy hill. "Who is the seer? When I sought within, I watched the disappearance of the seer, and what survived it? No thought of 'I saw' arose. So, how could the thought 'I did not see' arise? Who has the power to convey this in words when even thou couldst do so in ancient days by silence only, appearing as Dakshinamurti? Only to convey by silence thy state, thou standest as a hill shining from heaven to earth." 8 stanzas on Sri Arunachala. The ancient path of self-inquiry taught by the Maharshi was previously relegated to hermits, far removed from worldly pursuits. What the Maharshi did was to make this path available to all, whether engaged in employment or rearing children or living within the confines of a monastery. With a period of meditation each day and vigilant remembrance of the ideal throughout our activities, we can experience the true nature of Arunachala within and without. This is what the Maharshi taught and embodied as a living example. The study of his life is equal to the study of the scriptures, for in his every action, the individual self was absent and the supreme self shines forth. This rare example in the 20th century is an unfailing gauge to measure spirituality at its highest plateau, and we should make use of this standard to assess our life in all its varied aspects. Recited daily before his samadhi in Tiruvannamalai is this stanza composed by Kavyakanta Ganapati Muni. Good luck accumulated to the Red Mount, Arunachala, for its having sheltered numerous sages in the past, has now grown incomparable because Lord Ramana Maharshi has chosen this hill among many other holy places for his abode. 40 verses in praise of Sri Ramana. The Maharshi never admitted to having chosen Arunachala as his place of residence, but had always expressed being chosen by Arunachala. Bearing and tending me in the world in the shape of my father and mother, thou didst abide in my mind, and before I fell into deep sea called Jaganmaya, universal illusion, and was drowned, thou didst draw me to thee, Arunachala, consciousness itself. Such is the wonder of thy grace, the necklet of 9 gems. We also may feel that we have a choice to choose Arunachala, to choose the path of the practice of self-inquiry, to choose Sri Ramana Maharshi as our ideal, our goal, our guru. And if we do this with our whole heart and mind, we will also know and experience, thou didst draw me to thee, Arunachala, consciousness itself. Such is the wonder of thy grace. Om Shri Ramanarpanamastu.